The air test, okay, you're going to want to make sure you've got your flow meter and your detection tube and your sample media. Okay, now the easiest way I have found to do this, okay, is you open the door. Okay, there's two bypasses that have to be initialized in order to get air to flow through here. Okay, so what I usually do is fill from compressor. I set this to about 500 psi. Set my regulator to about 500 psi. Okay, one of the safeties is in the back. There's an identical safety up on the top, right here. Okay, so the one on the top it's opened when the bar drops down. So what I do is I push. There's a tab on the left and a tab on the right. So I push those back, okay, and then I lower the bar. Okay. So now the bar is down and it satisfied the one on the top. Then I take my test box, because it doesn't matter which way these are. They're not directional, okay? So now all I got to do is cram that under there. Now I hold the fill whip because I don't want it to fly around, okay? And then I would crack that open. Then I make my connection, okay? So usually I put the adapter on first. So I make this connection, okay? Close the bleed, okay? And then with 500 pounds here, I'm going to regulate the flow here. And I always purge this for about 2 minutes. Okay, because there's ambient air all trapped in these lines and into here. So I'm going to purge that for a couple of minutes. Then I start getting my media ready. Okay, I put my filter media on, and this is looking for oil or any particles. Okay, that's what this filter is going to pick up. So you put that filter on and then make this connection here. Okay, and then you flow this at about 50. Okay, and then your Drager tube is looking for moisture. Okay, so you snip the ends off that and make sure to put that in the right direction. Okay, and then inside here you've got 2 needles, and those needles are going to puncture the membrane here, and so those 2 needles are kind of offset. So you always want to make sure that when you put the test tube in there, that you kind of push to that one side so that the needles puncture the membrane and they don't hit the metal. Yeah, because you could get a failure if it punctures the metal. It'll leave that open. So you just set it off to the side. Okay, you got your flow at 50 from compressor. Now you may have to open up the other fill whips to keep the compressor running. You want the compressor to be consistently running. I usually try to get it like at 5,000, 6,000 psi. Just try to keep it running steadily. Okay, I start my timer. I do 10 minutes. Okay, at the end of 10 minutes of flowing the air, then I'll start to take this apart. Okay, and when I pull the test tube out, I put my thumb over that membrane. Okay, I use the warmth of my thumb will seal that membrane up. Okay, so that'll keep it from getting ambient air stuck in there. And then you pull your Drager tube out and you do your reading on the Drager tube. Okay, and it should only be 5, 10, maybe 15. Okay, if it skyrockets, and if the Drager tube changes colors way up here.
Yeah, I just had one dude go to like 70.
Oh, okay.
A little over 70.
Yeah, so. And was that off a hose reel?
Yes.
Yeah. So a hose reel is going to have enough, just the ambient moisture that's condensed in it. It'll peg that. On these, my typical air test is going to be a 5 or a 10. Okay. Disassemble everything, then shut everything off. I always pull the sample tube out while there's air flowing.
That's what the directions say.
Exactly. Yep. So don't turn it off and then pull it out. Then when you're done, go ahead and pull everything. When you're done removing everything, then you can turn everything off, okay, and then disassemble your test device. Okay. Don't forget the box, or you'll end up shutting the door and puncturing a couple holes in it. Okay. And then to put this back, you push in. So notice I'm pushing the tube back, and then I'm using my wrist to lift up. And then I let those out, and it drops it in.
All right.
And now you've just done an air test. I don't know if I pointed out these nuts. These nuts, a lot of times these will tend to loosen up in shipping. And so I always just reach in and check those, make sure they're tight.
Okay.
7/16, put an Allen in there and just snug those up. Okay, and this is all stuff I do when I do a startup on any device or any of our systems. I always check this hardware, this nut here. I always put a little Loctite blue on that. If it's from the factory, it's supposed to have a little Loctite on it, but sometimes that'll vibrate. And if this falls down and you shut the door, it won't activate that. Okay, so if that nut's loose, just roll it, spin it down, a little Loctite blue, and then snug that up. Again, 7/16. On the top, there's that same. Yeah, you can't really see it, but there's a bolt up here, a 7/16 bolt. You can make sure that one's tight there. On that. So that's a few of the things that. So I don't know if you can see this bolt here.
Yeah.
Off to the side there. You just make sure those things are snug. Okay, and that's stuff in shipping. A lot of times that'll vibrate loose. And on air trucks, that's what we check every year. This is the hardware that we're checking just to make sure it's snugged.